Hey, hi. Two things before the video starts. First of all, I was gone for like 2 weeks. That's not because actually three things now. I was gone for 2 weeks. It's not because of anything. I was basically just couldn't be bothered to edit a video. But I'm back now, and there shouldn't be a 2 week wait for the next video. Um, Second thing, don't worry about the name. I just took Oge Kuma because it was available and it looks cool. And I think I talked about wanting to take the name. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna change anything. I'm still gonna be uploading to this channel and all that stuff. So don't worry about the name. It doesn't matter at all. Um, Third thing, this video isn't getting consistent 1000 FPS everywhere. This is just to get to show up once. So if you really want like consistent good FPS, this is not the video for that. Just download Optifine and turn all your video settings off to like fast and like off. And straight off the bat, you can see my FPS is massively higher than it was in the intro, even looking at the ground. But okay, anyway, so yeah, this video I'm gonna be telling you how to get 1000 FPS to show up. You might have seen this on my Twitter. I posted a video of me getting 1990 FPS. I'm probably not gonna get that. I might not even get 1000 because that was off recording. I closed everything in the background, but I'll just show you some steps. So obviously you'll probably want to generate a flat world where there's nothing around you. If you want to get the maximum possible FPS, do turn all your settings off. I'm gonna leave these on. I have most of these turned off though, because I'm not concerned about custom skies and stuff, and it just gives me more FPS. So I'll just take the FPS, and I don't really care about skies. You can see I get around 100 to 200 FPS. So sometimes I'll drop below 100. That's like my average FPS. Don't worry about the out of. That's just the amount of FPS I will be getting without Optifine. Just worry about the first number, not the second number. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so obviously looking up at the sky and Optifine zooming, and you can't really see that actually. I mean, you can see it, but not well. So I'm gonna go to other, turn that off, and then just get the FPS widget and use that instead, because you can see that easier. So let me just quickly toggle. You know what? You can see that enough. You can definitely see that enough. As you can see, 195, 172, 178, 231. That's like it's like my average recording FPS. You know, when I'm bridging, I tend to get about 200. When I'm looking around normally, I tend to get about 100. Sometimes I dip below. But I'm gonna teach you how to get 1000 to show up. So yes, I'm literally using a short sword pack from now on because I just hate PvP packs. I literally have the bare bones PvP edit, like not the actual bare bones itself, just the PvP thing. That's what I'm gonna be using from now on because I always switch PvP packs. So already, if you clear your hotbar, that will actually help. That gets you a bit more FPS. As you can see, I'm getting like 210. I don't know why it does this, but looking around normally, I'm not really dipping below 150. I'm occasionally getting 200 where I used to average 150. I don't know why that helps, but it just does for some reason. Obviously, looking up at a plain sky is going to help a lot. You can see I'm getting 400 FPS already. Optifine zooming will also help unless there's a sun near you, then it won't. Just go off the sun. Obviously, pressing F1 is going to help. This should get me, it normally gets me about 500 to 600, but it only got me 462 from 400 because I'm on recording, and there seems to be some kind of cap. I'd never really get above 400 FPS when I'm recording. So next step is, if you think 400 is enough, like enough to flex on your friends or something, then go ahead. But I know one of my friends who like averages like 500-600 FPS, so that wouldn't be enough. So what I do next is, I can't stand being in the air when I'm pausing. What I do next is, if you're really desperate, turning off to 60 is gonna help, or like 30 will help, because it kind of zooms in, but that's kind of ugly. So I'll go back. Turn your graphics settings down as much as you can. I'm not gonna turn them all off, like animations, and because I'm just too lazy to turn them back on. As you can see, my game looks terrible, but I am getting more FPS than I was getting previously. As you can see, I'm getting like 250. Make sure your FPS isn't capped. Most people say I only get like 60 FPS. They don't, or 120 FPS. They don't realize that FPS, because by default when you download Minecraft, your FPS is capped at 120, or it's capped at your refresh rate by default. I believe it's either your refresh rate or 120. So just make sure your FPS isn't capped. Make sure it's up there on unlimited, because that's a big factor that can really hinder your FPS actually. Because I can literally turn it all the way down to like, what, 20, and I mean, this just looks terrible. So, anyway, so, yeah, what you can do, this is a lesson, no one really does this. Now, if you genuinely want some more FPS to not trade too much, consider making your screen resolution 1280 by 720. Now, this is 720p. If you don't know what resolution is, don't worry about it. It just makes it look slightly worse. This might mess up my OBS, how it's showing it. It does. It only shows a little bit of it. As you can see, there's black everywhere now. But it's paying off. Looking down, I'm now getting 341 FPS. If I look up at the sky, the sun, without zooming in, I almost hit 500 there. I'm actually going to turn sun and moon off quickly, because that's actually going to be really annoying. Where is it? Sun and moon. You can see, I'll clear my hotbar again, 673, 595, 701, 703. You can see already that just 720p has made my FPS so much better. But of course, we can, and this isn't going to hinder me that much. I mean, it's going to hinder me a bit, but not awfully. It's not going to make it unplayable. And I'm sorry about the black stuff, by the way. I know that looks kind of strange, and my perfectingness is going to kill me for it, but I can't really do anything about it. So we go to options, video settings. Even with the pause option menu on, we're still getting like 200. We hit 300 until I highlighted it for some reason. You want to do literally everything you can, because when you get above like 500, it gets really sensitive. Like, you do one wrong move, and you lose like 200 FPS. So I'm gonna do it all the way down to 640 by 480. Now this is gonna look terrible. It's gonna be more black than the actual video. And here you go. You can see on OBS right now, it's literally a square in the middle of the screen. But I'm getting now 484 FPS, 533 looking down. 680, 683. You can see it makes it. Now, this is unplayable. But this is what I did on Twitter. So I looked up at the sky like this. I zoomed right in. I pressed F1. I actually went out of the window, like I tabbed out, then tabbed back in again, but I'm not going to do that this time. 1572 FPS. For someone who averages about 100 on recording, I think. Now, obviously, you can, like, turn, like, all your animations off and, you know, that stuff. And I'm too lazy to turn them back on again. So I could be getting even more. But for someone who averages about 100 FPS on recording, this could be 100 FPS for you off recording. You can look up, optifine zoom all the way in, then do F1. Then what you can do is grab a phone or something, or just F1 and quickly press F2. As you can see, if I open the screenshot, and then I'll move to display capture, don't worry, so you can actually see it. And here we have the screenshot of me getting 1514 FPS. Obviously it looks square. What I did is I took it on my phone and just took the FPS, so it looks like it was a full screen, but it actually wasn't. That was on recording. I got 1990 off recording. If I tab out, it will give me more, but I'm not gonna do that for the video because it's gonna look really strange and I won't be able to do it in time. But yeah, as you can see, I'm getting. This looks your game looks awful, but I go to multiplayer, high pixel. I'm in the main builds lobby. As you can see, chat takes up everything. But if I look into the void, I'm getting 400 FPS. If I look into the lobby, which is where I always get like 20 FPS, I'm retaining a comfortable 114, 121. And this is on recording. It's unplayable, but this is literally to show FPS on your screen, which is why you clicked on this video, right? Or if you just click on my sub box. And I mean, I can stare into the void all I want. There's annoying void particles that I don't know how to get rid of. Zoom all the way in, press F1. Obviously, I'm on a server's side, so I'm not going to get as much FPS. 810. Yeah, this really. It's actually ridiculous. Like, I'm getting more FPS now on recording than I normally get while playing. And even setting it. The video settings, even setting it to like, I don't know, something like, where even is it? Other. Even setting it to 720p, which isn't that terrible, remember. As you can see, there's only a bit of black bar, and it doesn't look too bad when it's actually in full screen. Looking up, Optifine zoom, all the way in, f1, 1117 in 720p. Even like that's a pretty playable resolution. Honestly, you can play. I can play in 720p comfortably. I actually did it on my old computer, which was like really bad. I actually played in 720p all the time before I got this new one. And it's actually, I don't know what to say really at this point. I kind of shown you it already. But yeah, I got about like 200 FPS, 100 FPS doing what I'm doing right now. So like down here, I'd be getting like 200. Looking like up, moving around, I'd be getting like 100 maybe. So if you want to get like genuine stable FPS, that's what about, I don't know, like 50 to 100 more than what you normally get. Then go in 720p. It's not actually that bad. Most people like if you have a computer that can't run Minecraft in 1080p, most people who have computers that can't run Minecraft in 1080p play or record, sorry, in 720p. So playing the game in 720p is literally not gonna make a difference. You'll just need to go on OBS and just make the source bigger, so that it actually takes up the whole screen, whilst in 720p. And my Minecraft just crashed. You know what? I'll just stick with this. Okay, so tell me. Oh, it's just launching now. Tell me how much FPS you got in the description. I want to see if anyone got more than me. Obviously, there's going to be some people who can get this much FPS normally, such as Sackboy Clank 5. He gets like 2000 FPS. He got 1000 FPS whilst recording at 1000 FPS. Honestly, having it in 1080p, that's what I do. After doing this, you will need to readjust it. If I go back and just go back to my world, I guess, with Badline Client, you'll see I'm getting my normal FPS again. I'm getting like 84, 128. Just wait for it to load up a bit. 144. This is my normal. This is my normal recording FPS. This is how much FPS I normally get while I'm recording, and I'm obviously gonna turn my graphics settings back on now too. But if you do this and decide to go back to 1080p, as you can see, look, you can't see my full screen, so you will have to kind of mess about with it, get it back to normal size on 1080p, like so. And now I'm getting my normal FPS, like 100, peaking at 200 when I'm looking down, going to like 120, sometimes less when looking up. This is my normal FPS. This is at 1080p with relatively normal graphics, and even that, doing the things I mentioned in this video, I'm still getting like 500 FPS looking at the sky. And bear in mind, I have my fancy graphics back on now, and I'm also going to turn the sun and moon back on, because when I play survival world, that's like really helpful. Yeah, tell me how much FPS you got in the description. I'm actually genuinely interested. I want to see the highest one. I'll pin. I mean, there's gonna be people who lie about it. So yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I tweeted that, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or something, and I finally decided to make a video on it because I was like, hey, I can't be bothered to edit Bed Wars videos because I'm just too lazy and I'm tired every day because I'm going to bed at like 10, which is like a normal time, 10, 11 p.m. But I'm not falling asleep till like midnight or 1, even with my phone out of my room. So I'm like too tired to actually edit anything. But this is like a 5-6 minute video, so you know, I'll be fine. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, there will be more videos at a more frequent basis coming out soon. I will try and get a video out tomorrow. I do not know how successful I will be. Next Friday I am returning to school, so that will be hindering my uploads things a lot. Probably like once a week, twice a week. Definitely one on the weekends, and then one during the week maybe. So like twice a week, maybe 3 times a week if I get lucky. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. Bye. And I'll be hearting all the rest, by the way. So free heart from Gamer Guru 12.